Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another DIY project. Before I get into the video, I want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored once again by Skillshare. So thank you guys over there at Skillshare. I've worked with them several different times in the past, so I know some of you are very familiar with Skillshare, but if you're not, they're an online learning platform and they offer so many classes. It actually had like 17,000 and they're growing so much. They have 25,000 different classes ranging from like web designing, graphic designing, how to YouTube, how to Instagram, business marketing, just tons of different things, even like cooking, grilling, sewing, DIYs. I mean, they just have a ton of different things. So if you've maybe set some New Year's resolutions and you want to learn a new skill, that is definitely where to go. They're really just awesome. They gave me another link I can give to you guys, and I do not make a commission or anything from this link, but it's just a link where you can go and sign up for free. You get a 2-month free trial with Skillshare, and that's for the first 500 people that grab that link and go sign up. So I hope you guys enjoy it and check it out. I love their platform, and I'm always learning on Skillshare. So with that said, let's begin the DIY. For this project, I'll be using 5 of the glass canvases from Dollar Tree. And just so you know, if you purchase these same exact canvases, the blue ink is super hard to take off compared to the other colors. So I just scraped the letters off of the canvases with a blade, and it took about 10 minutes to get all the ink off of the blue one. And I had 3 of the canvases that had the red ink on them, which those were a lot easier, but they still took about 4 minutes each. And then I just had 1 of the yellow ones, and that one was the easiest one. It took only 40 seconds to totally remove all the ink off the glass. And if I had known that, of course, I would have bought all yellow ones. So that's the reason I'm sharing that with you guys. So after I cleaned the glass and removed the barcode sticker, I used a screwdriver to remove all 4 screws in each of the back corners of the canvas. So if you've never took one of these apart, the backing just like slides right out, and then you can take out the glass. And so I just set the glass and the backing to the side and stacked up all my frames together. Next, I used Mod Podge and glitter to decorate the frames. And I noticed for this to have a good coverage on it, I had to add or apply, like a thick coat of Mod Podge on this. And even then, I still had to go back and do a little touch up job in places. But once that was completely dry, I went over the glitter with a top coat of Mod Podge so the glitter won't shed, it'll kind of seal. And then after that dried, I put all the frames and the glass and the backing and all that good stuff, I put them all back together. Next, I grab a few pennies. Now, you you don't have to do this, but I'm just going to show you guys something that I discovered, and this is going to help. This is going to help with like getting everything perfectly centered. So I used 4 pennies for each canvas, and I counted out my pennies and I set those to the side. Then I grabbed 5 of the 5x5 square mirrors from Dollar Tree, and I'd already removed the little foam legs off the back of them. And this is important because you want the mirrors to lay flat on the glass. I placed each one in the center of my glass canvas without measuring anything at all. I just kind of like eyeballed it. Now I take those pennies and I place them between the mirror and the edge of the glass frame, like the rim right there. So each side is about the same width as a penny. So I figured this would be the easiest and most accurate way that I could get the mirror to like perfectly be centered. It doesn't matter how out of place the 5x5 mirror is when you first place it on the canvas, because once you run the penny kind of up and down the edges and or along the sides, the mirror will just like automatically straighten itself out. So how neat is that? You should still pay close attention and make sure everything is lined up, because sometimes items from Dollar Tree doesn't always have like perfect edges or angles. Once my mirrors were all into place, I started to glue those, and I used mostly epoxy glue on the backs of them with just a tiny dab or two of hot glue. And then I placed the mirrors on top of the glass, keeping the mirrors, kind of in between my pennies around the border, which is keeping it all lined up. Now you'll have a short couple of seconds. You can realign anything if you don't lay it, perfect. But it's not very long. You just have like maybe 3 seconds or so. And that's only if you don't press down on it right away. Next, I used acrylic gems from the floral section of Dollar Tree. And I'm going to show you guys 2 different ways that you can glue these to the glass without getting any glue at all on the visible part of the glass between the mirror and the frame, so that when you're looking at this, you won't see any glue on the glass or the gems at all. So I started gluing the gems to each other one by one in an offset pattern, making 2 rows of gems. And staggering the gems or gluing them so they're offset is the only way that I knew I could get the gems to have 2 rows on the outside of the mirror. It just didn't look right with 1 row. So that's the reason that I'm doing it this way. So all I'm doing is gluing a gem to a gem until I have a set of 2 rows of gems. Then I add glue to just the bottom row on the tips of the bottom row. Now be sure to skip the furthest gem on each end. That's because the top and bottom gems are fully exposed in each corner. So if you're wanting to prevent using glue on the parts that are visible, just remember to skip the end ones on the bottom. So, y'all, this is really, really easy. Once you get the 2 rows of gems prepped, it fully covers the glass from frame to mirror and all the way around with little to no gaps. And if you see a gap, you can always fill that gap with like just a single gem so your frame is completely full. The second way is basically the same concept. I just glued 2 gems together, and then I just glued those 2 gems to the bottom, which I just added glue on one of the gems and kept it behind the mirror, and then I glued 2 more, and so on until I worked my way all the way around. Now I prefer the first method. It was much easier, especially for me. um but they both have similar results, so whichever is easiest for you. Now I place my canvas in the wall pattern that I like best, and I like them all. Y'all, there is so many different designs you can make with these. Layout that I went with, actually it started out in the shape of a W, and then I brought the 2 outside canvases up and over the centerpiece. And the reason I went with this structure is I wanted to glue this all together to make one whole piece rather than hanging each canvas up individually. Having each one connected to the centerpiece also strengthens the structure as one piece. So for me, this just works better. I used epoxy and hot glue to secure each of the frames together. Because I want to add lighting behind the gems, I use my hot knife to notch out some grooves in the canvases for my power cord. And this is so that the cord doesn't prevent this whole piece from laying flush against the wall as it should. So I'll be using two 20 bulb strands of Christmas lights, and so grand total, I'll have 40 bulbs. I divide 40 bulbs into 5 canvases, and that leaves me with 8 bulbs per canvas. So I'm going to put 8 bulbs behind each of the canvases to give the lighting as much balance as possible. I add glue to the cord and secure the lights into place in those little grooves. If you build a light in this design and later you decide that you don't want the cords hanging down, then you can remove them, or you can simply fold the cords up and behind the canvases, and no one will ever see it. As another step of security, I also glue some craft sticks over the seams where each of the frames meet. And now I feel really good about the quality and the structure, so I hang this on the wall. And I didn't do anything special to hang this. I hung it on an already existing screw by the very center canvas.